next segment, the next speaker for the day. Artificial intelligence is transforming healthcare by enabling faster, more accurate diagnosis, personalized treatment plans, and improved patient outcomes. To help us understand and enlighten us on this and more is our next speaker, Dr. Deepa Bide, MBBS, DCH, and PMP. As a physician with a solid foundation to leverage IT and project management skills and knowledge, Dr. Deepa has blended her broad-based experience and learnings to present a unified, holistic, and wholesome view of project management and healthcare across domain confluence. So who better to tell us the role that AI and project management plays in healthcare than Dr. Deepa? Over to you. A round of applause, folks, for Dr. Deepa.
This is the green, right?
Yeah.
So moving forward. No, this one.
Yes, you can skip. Yes.
Okay. Hello. Hello and good morning. Good morning, all of you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time on this Saturday morning for this August conference, as well as your time to listen to me. I'm going to be with you for 20 minutes, and the time that, in this time, what we are going to cover is about healthcare, AI, and project management. Healthcare itself is a very different domain, and I'm sure you all know that, understand that, and have felt that. The most important part, and which distinguishes healthcare domain, and maybe before that I should give a disclaimer. I'm a physician, I'm a pediatrician, and I've been with project management for the last 2 decades now, been with healthcare for 3 decades. So you can see that confluence that I have. So project management and healthcare are a part of my blood. So if you take my pathology samples, I'm sure the maximum levels will be for healthcare and project management. So first of all, I would like to thank PMI PCC for giving me this opportunity. And most importantly, my mentor, Ramam, who is over here. He has given me not only a direction, also guided me in this very different direction, I would say. And today where I am largely is attributed to Ramam's guidance. Thank you, Rama. What I'm going to talk today is, in 20 minutes, is not going to be complete healthcare AI. To start with, I would say that from the last 2 years, 2023, I mean, I've been with PMI for the last 2 decades, and with healthcare AI, championing healthcare AI, because I do believe that project management somewhere or somehow is related to or was understood more like a software from software angle. But later on, when I was a part, and mostly when I was part of all of these IT companies, Cognizant included. But when I was a doctor, and when I am a doctor, and when even now I see patients, I realized that project management never got to the doctors. That is not because of the project managers or project management. It is because of the doctors or the physicians, maybe a myopic eye, not to see the benefits of project management. And apologies if I have any doctors in this group. They might have a differing view, but this is my view. So that was my endeavor when I stepped here, and that's where Ramam guided that you'll have millions and millions of people who are in project management. You'll have millions and millions of people who are in healthcare. But who is that, like a Venn diagram, who champions for healthcare project management? That's where I step in. And to complete the third circle of the Venn diagram is the AI now. So I started a small experiment in one of my, where I'm attached, and they said that, Deepa, we have a situation, we wanted to implement an AI module. So I said, very good. So why did you choose me then? They said, you bring the PM, IT, and healthcare point of view. So they said, the business problem. So I asked them, what is your real business problem? No, we want to have AI. And this is about 200 to 300 bedded hospital, very close to where I stay. This case study has been published in PMI Sweden's uh, report that has come out, and that's one part with the slide, and I've pasted the link also. PMI Bangalore chapter also collaborated with that report. It's across about 13 chapters for PMI AI in project management. So when I asked them, none of my colleagues were able to pinpoint what the business problem was. We want to give a better patient care. We want to improve on our cost. We want to do this. We want to do that. But really, it was very difficult for me to get them to understand what is the problem that you want to solve with AI. Just because you have 25 lakhs or 50 lakhs, that's not the problem you want to solve. That's a good problem to have. And you want to spend on 50 lakhs on an AI tool. Is it for your one-upmanship? Do you want to project it outside that you have an AI-enabled patient care? I don't know. So I think one of the main things that, like I said, the topic is efficiency, improve efficiency in healthcare, is really about, if you want to improve efficiency, you have to know what the problem is. If you want to just start an AI because you love AI and you have multiple people who are your resources who you want to keep and upskill and just show your upmanship, then that's not a problem in my opinion, at least not in healthcare. I'm looking at two solutions. Predictive patient engagement. I have 14 and a half minutes, so I'm going to go a little fast. I cannot cover everything of healthcare AI. It would take me 8 hours to talk. I don't mind standing here and talking for 8 hours, but I don't have that time. So here is where I saw that when we were involved, and as a part of LV Prasad also, I know their case studies. We have, normally what would have happened is the patients, let's say you have a cohort of patients, you do screening for them. And let's for a moment take it's a breast cancer screening. The patients would come to the urban center, you do their screening, you find out of 100, and that's just a rough number. 10 patients suspected with breast cancer, and then you tell them, you come back, and they are from a rural area because it's a screening drive, and they go back. And only 2 come up, because they cannot leave their work just to come and find out if they are having a suspected breast cancer or no. They lose their livelihood. They have to travel from a rural village. And that's where you lose the patients. You probably have lost 6 patients who would eventually develop into a florid breast cancer and die. Now, the way I look at it, and I was involved, is we did a screening of a complete set of 2 villages, almost, I would say, 4,000 patients. And we got results there and then. The AI generated results there and then, and they showed us that about 5% of your patients who are in this, women who are in this age group, are at a risk of breast cancer. And there and then we had this SMS, and there and then we told them that, look, you need to find out, you need to follow up. We had our coordinator, we asked the coordinator to follow up with them. The IT technology enabled us to do that, and we had all that 5% come to the specialty hospital in Hyderabad. We didn't lose anybody. We probably did, once we went ahead with the final detection, it wasn't AI totally, it was human and AI. And it was definitely not only AI-generated reports that made us diagnose or made us predict the disease. But we had our specialist who looked at those reports, and then we had about, I would say, fraction of them who really were at risk. This is a very important point which I wanted to bring is, it's a rapidity of care. It's a precision of care when you involve a human. It's about the scale of care, and it's about the risk. And this is very important when you deliver patient care. Healthcare is all about delivering patient care. It's not about administration. It's not about cost. It is about cost, but at the end of the day, you are treating a life of a patient. And that's what we are committed to. The second case is what I've read. I've not experienced it, but there was a scenario where you had to do a stent surgery, cardiac stent surgery in a space station. And how do you do? You need all nuts and bolts and everything to take all of the equipment. Did that patient ever know that before he got on the rocket that he had to have a stent surgery there? I mean, they wouldn't have a patient who sits in a space shuttle like that, right? But he had to have. Now you have to save his life. What do you do? Now there is a 3D printer. All of us know that the IoT applications are there. Now they were AI enabled. And that is the biggest logistical puzzle. How do you send things from the Earth into space when they require them? And that's where you send the 3D printers. And it was AI enabled. They actually, by precision, found out what is the size of the stent, not only stent, what else do they want, and they actually conducted that surgery. You saved a life of an astronaut. It's not about the cost, it's about the life. So this is about the predictive patient engagement. It's about the risk stratification, targeted approach. It's about patient experience, which I'll talk in a little bit in detail. Quick adaptation. And then you have a governance and call out. Now I want to challenge, I want to ask, is it artificial intelligence or is it collaborative intelligence? I think we need too much of a natural intelligence to create an artificial intelligence. Our natural intelligence is exceeded way beyond capacity so that we create an artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence, does it supply back our natural intelligence? I don't know. Or does it help us? At least in healthcare, I would call it a collaborative intelligence. I would not go, I know artificial intelligence has deep learning, machine learning, etc., but I would call it more like a collaborative intelligence, and that's the term that I would like to use. Now, AI impacts healthcare in multiple ways, right? AI impacts the entire pyramid. We saw pandemic where we had almost the entire world trying to find out what exactly and how should we treat patients and save patients. Now, actually, healthcare AI industry is about 16 billion industry today, and poised for 400 billion as of 2033, which is 10 years from now. But where is the cost? What is driving it? I think what is driving healthcare AI is about understanding how can you automate the basic tasks. Because really, to understand the patient's DNA, come with a predictive, personalized care is going to take time. But that's where the industry is heading for. Healthcare is, AI impacts in multiple ways. Healthcare organizations, patients, physicians, healthcare workers, all of us. And we use AI in our work. It's not like we don't use AI. We have like infinities for project management. We use AI, especially MedLM. There are few applications which are specifically tailored, Microsoft's, then IBM Watson Health. We use some of them in our work. Improving patient experience, optimizing care delivery, bringing efficiency. Clinical, financial, and operational are the three, I would say, areas where AI makes a major impact. There are multiple other impacts. This diagram is a little more clinical, but this was to show you that the non-clinical tasks, such as patient scheduling, billing, payment creation, those are the ones which are mostly lend themselves to AI. So if I just draw this quadrant, then workforce management, supply management, procurement management, if these are the tasks that actually lend themselves, but the clinical tasks actually don't lend themselves. And the reason for clinical tasks is not because we cannot do them. It's because there is a doubt that if you are not doing your job well, you have made a diagnostic error, it's going to cost patient's life. And that's where the human in the loop comes in picture. So the clinical tasks are slightly difficult. If you see on the right side, they are patient-facing, and then you have physician-facing. I would say clinical decision support, image analysis, clinical quality reporting are also difficult for us to outsource to AI. That is a problem with us, because we want to control it. We as physicians are used to doing that with our eyes. It would take time before we do that, but we have all started. In project management, a few applications are project planning and resource, wherever you think about, like I gave you a few examples, the first two examples, where planning and resource, which otherwise we would have taken a long time, it's very easy to do using the AI applications. We can identify risk better. Maybe more risk come in picture because it takes the patterns from different data that is used. Only a caveat that I would like to say is the models use the data used from what they are trained on, just like my colleagues have said. The models, they have to be continuously reformatted with the real-time data from the patients. Otherwise, you will not get the results that you want from the risk standpoint. Clinical trials, we know that AI is largely used in clinical trials now to make them faster, safer, more than anything, and more cost-effective. Administrative tasks. Now, here is where I have seen now so many chatbots, and I told you about this hospital where we have a chatbot. Chatbot was very simple, but the data tagging was a difficult task for me, at least it was new for me. But it helped. Now, we had to then translate it into Telugu, because it requires a regional translation. So we have this patient experience module where when the patient comes in, what are the first 4 things or 5 things that the patient would like to know? And that's where the experience was helping. We have medical image analysis. That's where the radiology and pathology and microbiology take precedence. Most of these departments, or rather all the 3 departments, now are using AI to understand what is coming out, what is glaring at them, what is jumping at them. Probably they would not have done. But they also have a pathologist, microbiologist, and a radiologist reviewing that. They don't leave it to just AI. And then last is personalized medicine, which we talked about. One thing, transparency in these models for AI is the most important component for physicians and a healthcare AI. Nothing else. Medical data privacy is very important. Governance of medical data is important. And that is supreme. Compliance and regulation. As such, healthcare is a very regulated industry with a lot of compliance constraint. And then, now we have the AI, we need to have trust. We need to have transparency. And that is very important, else it's very difficult for healthcare project managers to be in that project, sell that project, and make the project successful. I have a few other points like make the model, and the project managers who are in this domain need to understand that this whole situation that we are doing is to make it patient-centric. It is not to be away from the patient and support. It has to be patient-centric. How do we do that? That's going to be important. Stakeholder buy-in. Most of the project managers have told me that, Deepa, you think it's easy to work with you doctors? No, it's very difficult. They don't cooperate with us. I agree that we don't cooperate. But maybe there's a way to show us, and that's the skill of a project manager when he sees how does he bring the stakeholder buy-in in such domains, such as healthcare, which is sort of not lending itself to ITization or automation that effectively. Communication, trust, defining priority. I just gave you an example, like what is the priority? Just having 25 lakhs is not a priority. Key challenges, I would say, is most importantly, like I said, integrating with the existing workflow. That is very important. Already, all the hospitals have electronic health records, they have patient portals, they have everything. But then you come up with a brand new module and you say, now you start using it. But what happens to the existing ones? You have to integrate it into the existing modules, see that how it gels well, and that's when it really brings the efficiency. How do you measure the progress? How do you measure what you have done? Is the patient indicator better? Are the patients getting better care? How is the impact of AI in reducing medical errors? How are we doing on compliance? In doing all this, have we made a risk around some compliance, some governance? And how are we maintaining the model? Because again, if we have a model years ago, it's not going to be helpful today, because you have to feed it with the live patient data every day. These are some of the, I would say, high-level challenges that today project managers who are working for AI in healthcare need to think of. And of course, there are more. Benefits like we already talked about, I won't go in details, but increased automation of administrative tasks, boosting efficiency. Increased accuracy, personalization, cost reduction, better regulatory compliance. These are just a few that I would like to name. But most importantly, for healthcare project managers, it's about how you deliver a better patient care, a better physician efficiency, and a better healthcare for the entire planet. It's not about them only looking at their hospital. The physicians also have to have a better efficiency. And they should be doing what they are trained in, and they should not be doing what they shouldn't be doing. So AI won't replace doctors, but doctors who don't use AI will be replaced by people who will use AI. That is what I feel. So it's a call out for all the healthcare professionals and project managers here who are supporting healthcare industry to understand how important this is. Like I said, stay patient-centric, understand exact need. Today it's a big hype. Everything is AI-enabled. But which part of the patient is AI-enabled? Can you really treat a dying patient with AI? Can you talk to his relatives using AI? You can't. Healthcare is not that industry. We still are very, very patient-focused and human-focused. I don't think that EQ will ever go away. Prioritize data security, like I said, ethics, regulatory, and last but not the least, start small and scale smart. So with that, I will try to. There is a next slide which I'm writing a series, like I said, 2023 was dedicated to healthcare AI. 2024 is dedicated to all roles in AI, healthcare AI. I'm very happy to see Gaurav, who is sitting here. He is a supporter of that series. He reviews the articles. I have envisioned 11 roles. And the August will come out as a PMO role. But every role, how they view healthcare AI is the objective. I do try to interview few people who are experts, and it is published in PM World Journal. Other than that, I've also given navigating project management, the artificial intelligence. That's where the case study is published. Feel free to reach out to me if you need any other information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Deepa, for those insightful takeaways. I think there were a couple of them, but maybe a few what touched me and I will take away with me were that it is about problem solving. It's not just that you want something as AI enabled, like AI enabled patient care, that you just go for AI, but it's more about problem solving. And efficiency in healthcare is very important. And you also spoke a lot about predictive analysis using AI in healthcare. And the example that you gave for 3D printing was really commendable. So thank you so much once again, Dr. Deepa, for those lovely insights. Yes, please give a round of applause. Now you've had your tea, you've had your biscuits and sandwiches, so let's put them to use. And with that, we have a slot for 2 questions for ma'am. So yes, I see the first hand here.
Hi, Deepa. My name is Chandrasekhar from Kindle. I just have a question. So you said about a lady.
We're not able to see you, sir.
Hello?
Okay.
Oh.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, my name is Chandrasekhar from Kindle. When you said about a rural woman with the cancer, right? So my thought process goes this way. Why can't we have a mind map of the reasonings, right? So the 50% of the cure of any carcinogenic diseases will comes with a medicine, and rest of the 50% comes with the food. So the food contains multiple elements, right? So why can't we have a mind map of the food elements, which may be carcinogenic? If you see any commercial oil, that contains carcinogenic elements, right? So why can't we also help patient-centric and then help them with the food-related mind maps and its related carcinogenic elements?
I agree with you. I mean, I understand that what we today live is a function of so many of the carcinogenic things that we have. The 2-3 mobile phones that each one of us has is carcinogenic. I'm sure we have at least 1 mobile phone here, and I have 2 and I have 3 also. And I sleep with them next to me. So I think carcinogenicity of food is very closely related, like you said, right way to think. It's about understanding how do we plan the study. It's there, but how do we plan the study? Again, coming back to AI enablement of that, we need to understand, need to feed the data, we need to do the screening about what data will we collect, and what data will generate the insight to us, how much of the carcinogenicity is contributing to which part of the carcinoma or non-communicable diseases. It doesn't necessarily have to be cancer. So I think that study, I'm not aware if there is any study which is specifically related to the food carcinogenicity enabled by AI. But if I come to know, I'll definitely get back to you. But it's a very good point. Thank you.
Hello, Deepa. That was really a wonderful session. I had a question on clinical trials. I think that's the most inhuman thing. I don't particularly say that it is inhuman. It is a necessary evil, I can say. But is there a possibility that we can adopt AI and then overcome this clinical, instead of putting people into that particular category? Can we do that? Can we build up some models and then do it using artificial intelligence? That is first question. The second question is, these days we see that there are a lot of things that happens, like COVID had stuck in the last few years. It's very difficult to do clinical trials so fast during such kind of situations. Is there a possibility that we can adopt AI? If at all we are able to do that, so what do you think is the time that it will take for the AI, maybe a decade or 5 years or 10 years down the line, so that we can replace these things with AI? Thank you.
Very good question. I should say my knowledge in-depth about clinical trials is limited. I've not been involved in too many in-depth clinical trials, although I was involved in 3 clinical trials, one related to polio, one related to hepatitis A, way back then, and the latest related to COVID vaccine. So I will only talk based on my experience. There are already virtual human models which are already doing this. So we don't need a human being. We don't need a human being to come up with a basic phase. Now, clinical trials, I know I have esteemed colleagues who are, stalwarts in clinical trials, so I won't go in that. But there is an introduction of this phase, because these 4-phase type of clinical trials, this particular subject is a non-human subject. It's a computer model. And by that, in fact, I can quote one clinical trial related example where they have developed an entire cohort of people. This cohort of people have been in computer given a particular attribute set. So it is 47-year-old female patient with risk of breast cancer. And then they have generated this entire cohort and then and this is all done by AI enablement, and then run a sample. For example, you force this group of whatever we call these non-human objects into a specific risk, and then what data comes out. So that is now going to be yielding a faster result because there is no human subject involved. So it's a faster result. I would say safer because, again, you're not harming any human being. But the question is about the credibility of the research. Whether I'm thinking, if GlaxoSmithKline does this research and tells me tomorrow that, Deepa, this is a fantastic vaccine, but it's all done on non-humans. Am I going to use it? Am I going to use for my patients who are sitting there when I am having small babies? Maybe that's a problem. So I would like focus more on, like I said, transparency. Yes, human beings need not be, like you said, non-human. It's not non-human, but I don't think they need to be subjected. You still can have lots of other processes related to clinical trials done by AI enablement and only a specific piece related to humans. That's where I come from. But I'm like I said, I'm limited by my knowledge because I've not done in-depth clinical research. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And just one last question, ma'am. We'll be accommodative because sir wants to ask. Yeah.
Dr. Deepa, fantastic talk. I think in the last few minutes, we've certainly got to know so much about how healthcare is leveraging AI. So that's phenomenal. So thank you for that. I was just curious to know, I know just like there were apprehensions when we were putting data on the cloud from like healthcare and pharma companies, I'm sure there must have been similar concerns about patient data basically being consumed by AI, and who knows where that will go. So I'm sure it must have been an uphill battle to get kind of the right consent, right permission. So
Yeah.
if you can talk to us a little bit about that, a common man like me will be very comforted. All of us will be very comforted about the patient data being safe and grounded.
Perfect. That's a very fundamental, it's just like we write DNR, do not resuscitate. I'm sure some of you would have written, right? I wrote it for my father a few years back. Do not resuscitate. That's a very standard consent form that we write. And we sign on it and say that, this is the most important. Even when you go to any labs or do a procedure, you need to give a consent, or your kith or kin needs to give a consent. Nowadays, these days, if hospitals which are going to start or have started, they already have a form which gives you specific details of do you want to sign up for AI enablement or to share your data? If yes, then what parts of your data get shared? It's not about, because it's all about PHI, protected health information. Now, HIPAA laws in US are very, very, very stringent. I don't see that stringency in our laws because we are able to exchange our healthcare data even here also. So we don't have that. However, Government of India has recently come out, in fact, it's already there on their family health and welfare portal. There is a form which talks about the information governance of the patient data, which all the healthcare hospitals have to now put it up on their, their display board, that this hospital will collect data or will not collect. You need not, you can sign, whatever it is. So that is very important. It's already there, and it's a part of Narendra Modi's, what can I say, Swasth Bharat Samsthan for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just call you. 1 second, I'll just call. Thank you once again, Dr. Deepa. And now, may I please request on stage Ms. Suma, Director PMI PCC, to kindly present a memento as a token of gratitude to Dr. Deepa. Let's put our hands together.